Welcome to That 30 Show, a podcast where we talk about the good, the bad, and the surprising parts of our 30s. I'm G, and I'm finally 30. I'm excited to find out if 30 really is the new 20, because if it is, then the best years are yet to come.
And I'm David. I'm entering my mid-30s. I used to have no back pain or trouble sleeping, but now I live off a healthy diet of self-help books and dream of being in bed by 10 p.m. every night. Join us each week as we try to figure out together what life in your 30s is all about.
Welcome back to That 30 Show.
Welcome back and Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
2024.
2024. It has been how many years since the pandemic started? 4? 5? Oh my gosh, I don't know. But
yeah, I don't know. It's been a while. Yeah.
It's been, can't believe it. Time is
I mean, I definitely feel
flying.
We're living in a post-pandemic world now, even though, of course, there's still people that get infected and fall ill. But you know, one thing that I've changed about my lifestyle is that now when I take public transit, because it's the flu season, I'm wearing a mask. And I feel like I'm actually there's only maybe 1 in 10 people that I see on public transport that wear a mask, and I'm one of them.
Really? I see a lot of people wearing masks these days. Like, because I think there's something going around that's not COVID, but it's like this kind of like respiratory thing. Because I got sick like 2 times in a row in the past couple months. And it's like, it's been brutal. It's been worse than when I did have COVID. So
yeah, exactly. Like everyone's getting sick, and I'm taking public transport more. And you know, you're parked like sardines during rush hour in the bus or in the train, and when someone coughs near you, you just
holding on to the yeah. You know, one thing that I've changed after the pandemic is that I no longer take public transit.
Oh, okay.
Ever.
I've taken I've been taking it more because I'm trying to drive to work less. But 2024. You know, the other thing is, I don't know, you don't watch a lot of sci-fi movies and stuff, but 2024 it feels like it's one of those years that when you go back to, let's say, those films in 80s or 90s or even 2000s.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, fast forward to this futuristic, and it's like New York 2024. There's like flying cars. There's like hoverboards. And then now I look around, I'm like, this does not look like the picture that the movies told me about.
I mean, we have AI now, so that's
true.
That is something crazy. How were your holidays?
Yeah, pretty, like, I don't know. I was struggling to think like what interesting event or story do I have to share? I'm not sure if I have one. I'll try and think about it, but it was pretty, like, every time I go into holidays, it's always like an opportunity for me to be like, let me try and get as much done. Let me catch up on my to-do list. Yeah. Because I'm so behind and I want to start the new year on, you know, a fresh footing. Yeah. But every year it's like, oh gosh, that thing that I was for sure going to do, I didn't even end up doing it. So I felt it's just another one of those holidays where I'm just not satisfied with the amount I got done. In terms of going out, it was a more tame December than usual. Usually December's every day is just packed. I didn't have that this year.
The thing that you're talking about, how you're just never satisfied with the amount of work that you get done, I think that's just a perpetual David problem. Like I think you're just never satisfied with the amount of work that you're getting done. I think you have a very long to-do list. That's just in my head, maybe. I don't know.
I do have a long to-do list, and I take a long time to.
It's like one of those memes where like there's a scroll and then like it drops down, and then that reminds me of what your to-do list is like. During the holidays, I want to like do nothing for as long as do nothing for as long as I possibly can.
Maybe because you're just so disciplined and productive in the normal world, like during the normal time, that whereas I'm not. So
yeah, I don't know.
You're like, I need a break because I've been so disciplined all this time. And whereas for me, I'm like, I have not been disciplined, so now's my time to do it when I have so much extra time.
No, I think you're too hard on yourself. You haven't finished building.
Yeah.
The Lego.
So like I got a present for my birthday, and I'm a big fan of Harry Potter. I'll show on the camera if anyone's watching YouTube, but I haven't finished building it. But we got this Harry Potter Castle and Grounds Lego set that my girlfriend bought for me.
How long has this taken you so far?
This is like a few hours, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Does that look like a very long time?
Yeah,
Wow.
it looks really cool. It looks
very
pretty built,
cool.
but yeah, this end part needs more buildings. So yeah, I did that over the holidays. Still doing, I guess.
Maybe I should do more puzzles. I just don't feel like I would have the patience for that. Like, putting little Lego pieces together, I'd be like, screw this. I don't care about this end result. I
Do you
don't
like
want
arts
to do
and
it.
crafts in general?
I start on a lot of things that I don't finish. So I think that's just maybe my personality. I love to start on a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, which is actually something that I have for this year. Maybe we'll talk about it in a little bit. That I'm a new arts and craft project. I'm like, okay, this year I'm really going to stick to it.
Okay, but let's stay on the holidays for now. So you always aim to try and do less. So did you manage to do less? Did you have a relaxing holiday?
Yeah, I mean, like you, right? Like usually during the period of, because I usually take the time between Christmas and New Year's off, which is about 3 working days or whatever. So I get like a 10-day break. And usually there's like a lot of stuff happening, right? Everyone wants to see each other. Everyone's back for the holidays and there's like plans every single day. This year, yeah, it looked a little bit different. It was pretty chill. I tried to go snowshoeing for the first time, but I think all of Canada has been very warm this year. So we went up there. No snow. We went up there and we hiked because
you can just go shoeing. Yeah.
We didn't even get snowshoes because there was no snow. We just went in our hiking boots and hiked like along grouse. And it was funny because some people were trying to ski and snowboard and you could just tell that it was like ice. Like it was the bad stuff, I'm like, how do people do this still? And it sucks for those who got season passes and stuff like that.
But yeah, so you're not a season pass, but you've shared on the pod before. You're the once a year snowboarder. So you haven't done your once a year snowboard.
I haven't done it. I even bought a snowboard this year. Like I went on Marketplace and I got a secondhand one because I refuse to go again if I have to continue renting, because the amount of times that I've rented, I could have bought myself a really nice snowboard. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore because that's just stupid. So I went and bought a snowboard and it's in the storage locker waiting to be used, but I don't know if it's going to happen this year. It might, because this next week is going to be like crazy cold. I don't know if you've seen the weather forecast, but it's supposed to be crazy. No. But I'm getting out of here, so I won't experience that, hopefully. But anyway, yeah, that's basically it. I watched a bunch of Christmas movies, as I usually do. Elf and I think we've talked about this last Christmas, but all the movies, same movies that I watched.
So this pod is coming out January 8th. So I'm curious for the listeners, but I can't talk to them, so I'll ask you instead. Is your Christmas tree still up?
No. I'm a big take down Christmas tree immediately after. Usually I take it down after Christmas, actually.
What?
But this year I waited until New Year's Day. I took it down January 1st. I'm a bit like...
See, you got your shit together.
I just need the reset, I'm a big reset girl. So I'm like, out with the Christmas. It's time for a fresh start. So
do you ever leave your dishes unwashed overnight?
Sometimes, but like I try not to. Yeah. I try to at least put it away.
Person. Yeah, a lot of people who with that mindset, they don't want to go to bed with the kitchen not cleaned. It's like a big
generally that's I just don't have a lot of space also. So like my Christmas tree takes up a good chunk of space. So it felt nice to like January 1st put everything away. Is yours still up?
It is still up, but
you bought a nice tree. I was like, David, you can go get the bargain trees for like $50. Okay. David's like, okay, let me go out and get this beautiful big tree. Your tree looks very nice.
Thank you. It's mostly the decorations, which is full credit to my girlfriend. She fully coordinated that, bought everything off Temu, which is a good deal. But the tree is big. It's like 6.5 feet, so it's like a full size tree. But it wasn't that expensive. I think it was around like $80. Or something like that.
Oh.
And then the decorations. So we had no decoration, so we bought everything from scratch, and that was another $80.
Okay, so on Boxing Day, I went out and got a new tree because my tree was like basically falling apart. Like I would have these branches that I would just have to shove into the tree to make it actually look like it's still in there. So like it was literally falling apart. So I went out and got a new tree. And I was like, okay, well, I guess they didn't take my own advice because I got a tree that was more than like $100. But apparently it was discounted from like $699, which I don't know why anyone would buy a $699 tree, but
you technically own a $700 Christmas tree now.
I haven't put it up yet because it's going to be for next year. I'm just like excited because like next year I'm going to like open up fake organic. I don't know what it is, but next Christmas I'm going to open up a brand new Christmas tree. So that's going to be really exciting. Yeah.
I think the thing that makes my tree maybe look more expensive or nice is the decorations because maybe I'll post a photo. I don't know. It's all coordinated. So it looks, I mean, I think a lot of people, maybe your ornaments or stuff is sort of like a mismatch, but because we start from scratch, she was able to coordinate and buy, so everything matches and sort of there's an aesthetic to it.
Right.
Maybe that's why it looks nice and bougie, but it's not like, I don't think, $80 for a tree, that's not exorbitant. Another $80 for decorations, again, we have zero, right? So I don't know. That doesn't sound too expensive to me either.
Yeah. See, personally, I like the mix and match. Maybe that's just how my brain works. I love the different,
the chaos,
the chaotic tree.
Like we bought it pre-lit, right? So, but then the moment I lit it up, the default was the flashing colorful lights. And then immediately my girlfriend's like, switch it to the steady white light. I'm like, all right.
So are you keeping your tree up because you just want to hold on to Christmas or just because you have not gotten around to it?
It's partly I haven't gone around to it. Partly it looks nice. There's a space there. Like, can't I just keep it up all the year? Like it's.
Yeah. I mean, if you have the space for it, my parents like to keep it up until like Chinese New Year, which is like February. I'm like, okay.
Oh, really?
This is too much.
What about New Year's? Did you do a countdown?
I did not. I stayed in on New Year's. I was reading up until like 10 and then my eyes literally could not stay open. And so I just went to bed. No, I had no plans this year.
I thought you and your friends are like, you guys get together for these things.
Not this year. I have a few friends who are away this year. They're in Asia and I wanted to go out. But then the more I thought about it, the more appealing like going to bed and waking up early on New Year's Day sounded.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Screw that. It's like a big commitment to go out on New Year's Eve.
Totally.
You got it's money commitment. It's like a transit commitment, everything like that. So I think I fell asleep at like 10:30, woke up at midnight because everyone's like screaming outside, like yelling and screaming. I'm like, what are these kids doing? Like looking at my phone. I'm like, oh, it's midnight. Right.
So funny.
Yeah. I woke up at like 7 a.m. on New Year's Day, but it all went downhill from there. So that was all nice and fun. But ever since then, it was like a rocky start to the New Year's.
Now? Let's get to that in a second. I want to share something about New Year's, which is what I did and something that I may propose to you as a solution to your not solution, as a compromise. So this is not a revelation. I think this is quite common. But have you ever considered or heard about people who celebrate Eastern time countdown?
Yes, and I did that one year. I think it was during COVID because we weren't allowed to see each other. I watched the ball drop in New York City and then I was like, nice, it's midnight somewhere. I'm going to bed.
Yeah. So that's what I did.
I've done that.
Nice. We're on the West Coast, right? For most people know that, but we're on the West Coast. So yeah, I went to a friend's place. It was just the four of us, another couple and stuff. And, no one really cared actually. We finished dinner around 8 and then we're like, all right, we got to kill another hour.
You actually celebrated the Eastern time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was like,
awesome.
It's 8:40. So like, okay, let's turn on YouTube and find some live stream. And then we plugged into New York and then we turned it down and we left at 9:15.
That's awesome.
Yeah, something about the countdown is still nice, but just the whole midnight thing.
Yeah.
Gosh, we sound like people in our 30s. It's the theme of our show.
I know, that's a big change for me. I thought about it, right? I was like, okay, well, I could get up and do something and like wait until midnight, but I was like, what's the point? I'm gonna like message my friends Happy New Year and then I'm gonna go to sleep at like 12:02. I might as well just go to sleep right now.
So what happened? What was you said you started January 1st off well, but it went
Yeah,
down from there.
this sounds like deja vu right now. I feel like I'm back to 2023. Anyway, so New Year's Day, I woke up really refreshed. 7:30, I got a lot of sleep. I went out and I was like, "Oh, the sun's rising." I went out and I did like this really nice sunrise walk. I was like, "Yes, January 1st. I love this." There's people outside like watching the sunrise as well. I was like, "The first sunrise of 2024. This is beautiful." And then I went to the gym. I got a workout in, and then I was feeling so good, and I had made plans with my friends to go do the polar bear plunge. And I've never done it before because I'd always been like hungover. So
For people who aren't from Vancouver, can you share what that is?
yeah. Is it only a Vancouver thing?
Oh, is it not? Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
but polar bear plunge is basically January 1st. Everyone go out and run into the ocean in your bathing suit or like some clothes. But basically you're supposed to do this like cold plunge on January 1st. I don't really know what the purpose of it or the like where it originated from, to be honest. There's probably a story, but thousands of people in Vancouver will go out to English Bay, our local beach here, and do that.
there's a specific time that people show up for so they can all do it at the same time?
Yeah, exactly. And everybody just like runs and screams and jumps in and then runs out. And anyway, so I made plans to go do that. It was like a beautiful day on New Year's Day. Usually there's a bunch of snow, which would probably make it colder, but it was like sunny. It was not super cold. Made plans to go do that. Did that, which was actually really nice. Like I never gone to the beach on like January 1st or like in the winter, really. We actually did the plunge twice. So we like ran in, and then this lady beside us, like they did it right. They brought a bottle of champagne and they offered us some, and they were like, Happy New Year. It was like good vibes. So we did that. And right before we went, this was while I was still at the gym, I was feeling like something was off. Like I was not feeling so good all of a sudden in my stomach. And I was like, I guess I don't know. But this was like 15 minutes before I went to go do the plunge. So I was like, okay, I'll go. And when I came back, I was chilling and I was like, something is not right. Yes.
So on that suspenseful note, let me ask you a somewhat tangential question, which is what did the gym look like on January 1st? Because you know those memes, like the gym on January 1st is just like a zoo because everyone's trying to do the New Year's resolutions. But you went so early, maybe it wasn't like that.
Yeah, it was still pretty much like the holidays, where like people are not there. I'm assuming people are going to start.
You didn't see the January rush?
No. Usually that meme doesn't happen until like January 2nd or like the first week of after because people are obviously
still
out and about.
Holidays, yeah.
Anyway, so I started feeling off and just without giving too much detail, I was having a lot of stomach issues that day. Tuesday night, I started getting a fever, because I think I was just losing a lot of liquids. TMI. So long story short, I had the stomach flu or stomach food poisoning, something along those lines again from marinated seafood, raw seafood again.
So for the most loyal listeners, you will know why this is deja vu because this is how we started off our podcast last year. Like I know episode 1 or 2, it was G talking about her food poisoning. So this is starting to become an annual tradition. So next December 31st, I'm gonna be like, G, making sure you eat some sketchy ghetto seafood, right? Because it's that time of year.
It's not even sketchy ghetto seafood. My friends were okay both times. So it's either just I have a weak stomach or I just coincidentally ate the wrong thing, Anyway.
That's rough.
So so this whole week, Wednesday, like on the 3rd, I think, I was horizontal for the entire day. I got up to get my work phone to say that like I cannot come into work today. And that's it. The rest of the day was like horizontal. I had a fever and I think I'm finally getting better.
Yeah, I was surprised you went to a party yesterday.
I think with these things, you actually recover quite quickly because, like, I think the fever, I think the fever is due to the fact that you're just rapidly losing liquids that you can't replace. There is something that I learned, though, that maybe will help listeners if they, and maybe this is obvious, I don't know, but if they have a stomach bug. I took Imodium, which is supposed to be like for diarrhea relief. Okay. And you are not supposed to take it if you have a stomach bug. So, because you want to get the germs out of your system. Like, you don't, And so I think my symptoms lasted for a few more days because I did that. And so just a forewarning to all the listeners, maybe don't take relief pills if you have stomach.
This is so funny. This show is quickly becoming
lessons on stomach
it's just
food
an
poisoning.
annual reminder on how it feels to have food poisoning and to be careful about the seafood that you eat.
Yes. So
I'm sorry that happened to you.
it's okay. I'll tell you a big lesson that I learned from all this. I was just talking about how I'm a January 1st girl. I'm a Monday girl. I'm a, fresh start, new season girl. And the lesson that I learned here is that you just got to do what you got to do or you want to do like right now, because January 1st is not going to wait for you or like be perfect for you to start the new year the way that you want to. I was like, okay, January 1st, it's going to be amazing. And then you know what? Something unexpected happens that like threw me out of commission for a whole week. So if you want to do something, just do it now. Do it today. Don't wait till Monday. Don't wait till the next month. That is the lesson learned here. Yeah, and January 1st is just another day, just like December 31st was. And a lot of like terrible things have happened on January 1st. It's not like the world is going to be like January 1st, you all get a fresh start. You all get the best day ever. Things happen every single day.
I was listening to the news or just seeing some headlines, right? And then just updates about, the Middle East and stuff, and escalations or like some Iran, like terror attacks and stuff. And I was just reflecting. I was like, yeah, we're on holiday. We're like New Year's Eve. It's a break, but
nobody's waiting for,
no one's waiting around. Like we're planning for war. We're trying to figure out what's going on. It's like the world does not care that it's January 1st.
Yeah, lesson learned for me there. And it's been a week, to say the least. But, it's getting better. It's on the up and up.
Yeah.
So
no, I mean, speaking of illnesses, and we mentioned about earlier, my partner has also been really ill the past couple of days, and I feel like I'm fighting something now as well. So I also listened to a podcast, a CBC News podcast recently that was basically talking about why it feels like everyone's so sick lately. And there were three theories that this podcast mentioned. It was like immunity debt, immunity theft, and immunity something, like something. So the first one is like, maybe because of the pandemic, we were all locked down for a long time, and we weren't. It's kind of like the babies need to be exposed to a certain level of things because we were too sterile for too long. Our immune systems like got weaker because it wasn't exposed to too much. The second theory is that coming out of the pandemic, because we were locked down, we actually effectively suppressed a lot of those contagions because we were masked up, we didn't see each other, and coming out, it's natural for them to come back because we're out and about more. And then the third theory is that because of the pandemic and because we all got sick or whatever, our immune systems are all weaker because of it or something like that. But it definitely does feel, if only anecdotally, that there's more people being sick and coming down with weird shit. Like,
I just heard in the news that there is some like weird bug, like a new bug going around that is like a respiratory one. So it's like a lot of people are like coughing. It's not just like, you have a cold, like congestion and stuff like that. It's like, which I definitely experienced. Like the coughing that I had was pretty intense. So, anyways, stay healthy, everyone. Boost your immunity. Drink that vitamin C.
When I am healthy, which is, thankfully most of the time, I always try to use this awareness of sort of the sickness that is going around or whatnot to do my cold showers because I'm like, this is like an edge I can have against most people because most people don't do cold showers, and cold showers help your immune system.
Yeah.
I haven't been like sick for, knock on wood, for quite a while. So we'll see. I often feel like tired and fatigued, and I feel like my body's fighting something, but I never succumb to those symptoms. So
Yeah, I usually try to nip it in the bud too, but I got hit the last few months of the year. But before that, I was doing pretty well too. So, maybe we just need to keep up those cold showers, which I have really kept up this like in 2023. So I'm really proud of myself for that. Like I was pretty consistent the whole year.
that's amazing. Well, speaking of which, as anyone who knows G, or as anyone who's listened to this podcast long enough, G is not just the New Year's girl or the Monday girl. She is the New Year's resolution girl. Do we want to touch upon that? Like, we didn't really prepare for it.
We can touch on it a little bit, yeah.
Anything you're like looking for? Like, I guess just generally, like 2024 outlook. Like, what's going on?
Well, maybe to like reflect on 2023 a little bit, because we had goals or I had listed some goals that I had for the year, and my general theme was thriving in discomfort, seeking uncomfortable things and going out and doing that. I feel like I really achieved that in like at least the work aspect of it, which was like one of the big parts of why I set that goal.
Nice.
I won't get into details, but I do feel like I achieved that. And then in other aspects, like the cold shower, which actually got to be a point of it not like it wasn't uncomfortable anymore. So I don't really count that anymore starting from like a certain point. But in other aspects of my life, I do feel like I push myself out of my comfort zone a bit more, and it feels good. Like it makes you feel confident, So I feel like I would want to continue to seek those things out. One goal that I do have for this year is around like budgeting. I feel like I've never really had like a budget for myself. I'm lucky enough to be able
She
to
just makes so much money. She doesn't need to budget.
No, that's not the case. I'm a bit reckless.
It is true.
No, it's not. I'm just a bit like reckless with my money, to be honest. I spend frivolously. I don't know how much I'm really spending, and it's not good. It's not good for anything. So anyway, at the end of the year, I took like an audit of what I spend on different things. I'm not going to say the numbers, but
share the results.
But I spend a lot on like food, entertainment, that kind of thing. So this year I'm going to set budgets for myself, and I'm going to try to stick to those budgets. And
wow, that's big.
And I'm actually going to track it.
What are you saving this money for? Retirement?
Well, there's a lot of things that I think I could be saving for, like travel in the future, saving for investment, saving for maybe buying a bigger place or whatever. Like, I think there's a lot of things that I could save up my money for that's not just, throwing it into Uber Eats.
Nice restaurants. Damn, everyone, Uber Eats stock is going to go down in the next few months. So, G's dialing back.
Yeah. And just like, just cooking more. That is one of my main goals for this year. The one that I was talking about, this like arts and crafts goal, is so I'm like, I take a lot of pictures on my phone, and I do go back and actually look at them. I'm not sure if that's like a common thing that people do, but I do like go back and look at my pictures a lot, like throughout the years. I love to scroll through photo albums. I know some people take pictures and they like never look at it again, which is my mom. She'll take like 500 pictures and never look at them ever.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah. And so this year I want to do a digital scrapbook for myself every month. Just because I journal, but I want to do something that I can see like the pictures and stuff like that, because an album is just way too many pictures. So I already have the picture of Gatorade and Imodium in my scrapbook. Anyway, so I want to do that like for every month.
Digital scrapbook. I love it.
A digital scrapbook.
You should share that. You should share your January digital scrapbook on our IG. Like on our show IG.
Oh, yeah, sure. That could be fun. Those are a couple things. I mean, I have a reading goal, which is 40 books. So
40 books? Is that a lot, or is that actually normal for you?
See.
That seems like a lot.
It's around, I mean, I think this year I did like 30 something. So I think 40
Wow.
40 is
Oh, that's impressive.
achievable. I mean, 30 something is not all like, you know, personal development books. Like I do read a lot of
some trashy rom-com shit.
Yeah, exactly. So
50 Shades.
it's not 50 Shades. 50 that is way too trashy.
Yeah, speaking of books, I actually want to touch upon that really quick because 2023 was actually a banner year for me. I've never read so many books in my life, literally.
Nice.
It's not 30 like you, but it's okay. We're not comparing, right? But for myself, I read 22 books, and for the previous years before that, I was always hovering around 13 books or so, like a dozen or so, a book a month. But yeah, last year I read 22 books, and I'm really proud of that. I know it's not just about the volume in terms of the value that you're getting from reading, but I think it still reflects, you know, generally that I'm spending a lot more time reading, which is great. Yeah, so that's awesome for me. I'm proud of myself for reading so much.
That is awesome. Do you have a reading goal or something for?
No, I don't, because I don't want to focus on the number of books I've read as any metric of value. But I do want to like quickly share about like kind of how I achieved that, because I think it's maybe it's interesting. But I was able to read a lot more because I found a lot more moments in my life to read sort of in between things or during things. So for example, I was already reading during breakfast, but like that's an example, right? Like, okay, when I eat my breakfast, I'll read. And then now I was like, when I eat my snacks throughout the day, I'll read, even if it's like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, I'm getting that in. When I'm, spending some time in the washroom, I'll read.
Yeah.
And the main thing is that I have been taking, as I said, public transit more to work because I'm using that time to read. I'm reading on the bus, I'm reading on the SkyTrain to work. And then the last reason I've been able to read more is that I always read to fall asleep now, whereas before I didn't. And so all those things has allowed me to read a lot more. So if you're someone who wants to read more and you're like, I don't have the time, I don't think it's really about, let me like find an hour on a Tuesday night to sit down and read, because no one's got the time for that. But can you find little pockets throughout the day to read, like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there? That might not be the preference, especially if you're reading fiction or even nonfiction, because it feels very like truncated or whatever.
Yeah. Do you find that you retain the information when you do it like that?
Whether I do it like that or not, I find that I don't really retain much in general because my memory is so bad. Like I might finish a book and I have a few key takeaways, but I don't really remember a lot just because my memory is not very good. So I don't think it's impacted by the fact that I read in little chunks. Yeah, like for example, I was talking to my sister about this, and she reads a lot of books. Actually, I want to brag on her behalf because it's just wild. Guess how many books, Brenda, who's been on the pod, guess how many books my sister read last year?
45.
So that's almost a book a week, which is quite impressive, right?
Yeah.
She read 74.
Wow. I don't know. I'm always on
74?
like,
How?
yeah, I'm always on like book talk now. Well, this is book TikTok. And these people are like, I read 100 books this year. I read like 70 books this year. I'm just like, how? But I mean, most of the stuff that they're reading is like, fiction. So it's maybe easier to read.
Well, but the thing is too, with my sister, it's not like she had a lot of time. In fact, this was probably the busiest year that she's ever had. She got married, and she had a big project at work this year that only comes once every 5 years or something like that. Yeah. And so she was like, oh, I don't know how I managed to do this. But one example she gave me as something she does is like, I have a hair drying book. So like there's a book that she reads every time she dries her hair, because that takes like, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. That's how you chip away at it. And then the other example she gave me was like, sometimes I'll go out, I'll wait for the elevator and I see that it's on at the top of the building. So it'll take another 2 minutes before it gets to me. And she's the type, she doesn't use a Kindle, but she always carries a book everywhere she goes, no matter what. So she's like, I have a couple of minutes. Let me just whip up my book. So I think it's like for a lot of us, it's the same thing, except that we're whipping out. We're grabbing our phones instead of a book. Yeah. And for her, she always just grabs her book instead of her phone.
I like the idea of that. I just don't think Because for me, it'll take a minute to like get back into the book.
I know.
So it would be hard for me to do that. But I guess if you're doing that so constantly throughout the day, then maybe you all will already remember what you have been reading. So I shouldn't say I'm reading because I just opened the first few pages, but I'm reading Limitless by Jim Quick, who is a brain coach. And he specializes in like speed reading and being able to like retain information, memory, all that stuff. He's like one of the best in the world at it. So I'm reading his book. And so hopefully after I read that, I can share some lessons on how to speed read and retain information.
Yeah, we should get lessons on for the future. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I one of my all-time favorite podcast episodes was an interview with him. It was very impactful. So I like that dude.
Yeah, it's funny because he always repeats the same stories. And so I think I know all of the stories that he tells in every single podcast episode. But, the retaining memory. Yeah. So basically how like he's called the boy with the broken brain, which is crazy because now he is a brain coach. So he had like this he got this concussion when he was younger. And then ever since then, his personality kind of changed. Like his parents noticed that he hasn't been the same ever since that accident. And he's really struggled with reading and writing and everything like that afterwards. Like he just had learning disabilities after that incident. One day, I guess he was in class and he was really struggling with writing or reading, and his classmates were making fun of him. And his teacher was like, leave that boy alone. That's the boy with the broken brain. That really impacted his life because, and he always says this, he's like an adult's external words becomes a child's internal words. And so then that was his whole identity after that was like, he's like, I can't do this because I'm the boy with the broken brain. And so that like really made his identity. So he's like, be careful what you say around kids because like they'll really internalize that. That's like his whole thing is that he had all these learning disabilities and now he is like the brain coach for all these successful people.
There's still hope for me yet.
Yes.
Let's wrap it up with something that you are, I don't know, most excited for, but just whether it's most or just excited for, like what's 2024? What are you looking forward to? What are you excited for?
I just like have this random like good feeling about this year. I don't know why. And even though I got food poisoning in the first week, I don't know. Yeah. I just feel like very optimistic about this year. And you know what? Part of it I think is due to the fact that over the last, I guess maybe few weeks, I want to say maybe over the past month, I haven't really been drinking that much. And so I've been feeling really great.
Welcome to my life, G.
Go figure. I've actually felt very like...
Drinking is so bad for you.
Yes, I know.
It really is.
I felt like more clear-headed in the morning. I wake up feeling more refreshed and I just feel more positive. If that was... Like I was always possible. Oh I was always very positive. But now I feel even better.
Oh my God. She has another level to get to, everyone.
So I don't know if it's
that's exciting.
Necessarily attributed to that. Because I have like drank a little bit, but I haven't gone like ham in a while. And I've been feeling really good. So honestly, in general, I have a good feeling about 2024.
Wow.
What about you? You don't drink. So you like...
I don't drink. Yeah.
How are your energy levels?
Sleep is the thing that holds me back. I don't have good sleep.
Like if you don't have good sleep,
my watch always tells me that I don't have enough deep sleep. I'm a pretty light sleeper.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think that's what's holding me back. My energy levels. It's not the fact that I drink, because I don't. But yeah, so I think I'm excited for. I think I'll probably be planning to move at some point this year to a bigger place.
Cool. An even bigger place. David lives in a big place already. I would consider it a big place. Well, you have a massive living room though, so. Yeah,
but I want to move to a 2-bedroom.
That's it?
Yep.
All right.
I think it's gonna be a big year. I don't want to go on and on, but that was a good refresher on the holidays and the New Year's. Hope everyone has a had a good New Year's and is similarly optimistic as G. Okay, let's just face it. None of us are going to be at G's level, especially now that she's fucking evolved to a whole new level. Like, come on. We couldn't even get to her level before. Now she's
everyone can get to that level, okay?
Okay.
It's all about your mindset.
Okay. So,
come on, people.
I hope you all can be as
it's going to be a great year.
Optimistic as G, because that's some good energy there.
Sprinkle some good juju. Okay, sounds good.
All right. Well, next week we are gonna have a guest on to talk about motherhood. Right?
Yes, yeah, that was a great conversation. So I'm looking
really
forward
excited for everyone to hear about that. So if there's any moms to be or new moms that want to, relate and share in your experiences or hear about other people's experiences, that'd be good. Especially someone in their early 30s.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
Well, have a good one, everyone, and talk to you next week.
Bye.